Hello, homeschoolers. Welcome to the land of Yak Yak. My name is Laurel. Let's talk about morning time. Just a little backstory on me. I never planned on homeschooling. It was literally like a spinal straw. That's it. And a lot of times I'm like, yep, especially there's just certain things that it's like, yep, that's obviously this lady was not prepared. She started. But it's fine. But I wasn't one who did a bunch of research before she started homeschooling or was really philosophical about it or really committed, to certain philosophies or schools of thought. I had different reasons for choosing to homeschool, and I just had to hit the ground running and didn't know where to start. So it was kind of ended up happening how the school has kind of been coming together is from all over all kinds of places. I've shared a lot about the Robinson curriculum and how that really centered me, and I really feel like has helped me to flourish as a home educator. But yeah, so the things I'm going to show you today, and when I say morning time, it definitely probably does not mean what other people mean when they say morning time or whatever, or morning basket and stuff like that. I was kind of the type that I remember years ago, I kept seeing videos on people's morning basket, and the videos would have these intros with piano music, and I was I don't know, why am I the way I am? I don't know. Yeah, I'm just one of those people that has to learn everything the hard way, right? Anyways, so now here I am having my own little morning time and my own little morning basket, and yeah, it's not off of there's nothing in my morning basket that's a prescribed thing anywhere. It just has kind of ended up being, I literally just was having stacks of books and things that I was I need to get to that, or I'd like to do that at some point, that was just piling up next to the chair where I read. And then I was I need a basket. And then I was oh, I have a morning basket. Oh no, cue the piano music. Honestly, who knows? Where are we all going in life? Who knows who we're gonna be? I'm definitely not. My life doesn't look, and I don't look like how I thought it, would be. And I mean it in a good way. But so, anyways, all that to say that, yeah, my curriculum is not perfect. I don't have. I'm not saying I have an ideal collection or anything like that. It's just for real what I have in my morning basket right now, and then some other things I wanted to show you, the things that we do in the morning. Another word for this could be read aloud, right? But you'll see that I think a lot of things fall under, for me, what I would consider read aloud. Or you could also call this family subjects, right? Everything I do in my morning time kind of falls under all those categories. So let's start with something I've talked about before, and that I like to do in our homeschool, and that is family subjects. And we have two that we consistently do. One is Bible, and one is history. Okay, so we've been using the Bible recap, and I have the adult version. I bought that first for myself, and then I saw that they had a kid version, and so I got that. And so we use this. I also had bought the study guide. This is just the normal version. It's not for kids. And I've actually started doing this with the kids at the same time in the morning. We are kind of combining. The kids and I are just reading the Bible together and just kind of doing everything together, pretty much what I would be doing on my own. We're just doing it all together now. I was finding that I'd be doing just the kids version in the morning, and then I'd be thinking when I have time, I'll do my little Bible study questions. and I was just not getting to it a lot. So just a time thing. But like a lot of these, and just so you know, like, so the Bible recap, the kids devotional, it'll have the daily reading and just like usually a couple chapters, and then there'll be a recap. There'll be some sort of like Bible quote. She'll have her God shot, and sometimes there's, you know, an activity, which I think the kids are meant to be able to like write in this, but I don't let mine. But we'll just like do this together. Or there's like some kind of like a little question for them. They may be like, this one says, for Proverbs 7:9, draw a picture of your eyes, hands, and heart. Ask God to help you use these parts of your body with wisdom. Sweet, huh? I actually, in their, a lot of their notebooks I do have like, you have a Bible page, a daily Bible page. So we could just do that in there if we're using one of their notebooks that has that in there. Okay, so using that. And then I started adding on this. This is the first thing we do in the morning. And I don't know if you can see, it just has, you know, just a couple questions. And I think it's helpful for the kids to see me finding answers and stuff, like, and they're gaining knowledge, but they're seeing me grab my, you know, study Bible and look at the notes. They're seeing me grab my, I have a Bible dictionary, or yeah, obviously looking things up online sometimes. Yeah, seeing me look for the answers and like discussing stuff, and you know, I'm still learning and growing in my knowledge too. Okay, so I would say we're using both of these right now as part of our morning time. And then the two older boys have the Action Bible, and Bo is 6 and he has like a smaller Bible, but I just can't reach it. And so these are English Standard Versions. And I kind of, they're supposed to read along, like we're all reading along in our own Bibles. I kind of cheat a little bit, and I go on YouTube. I'll link to what we listen to a dramatized version of the Bible, and we'll listen to it. And then Tara Lee Cobble, who wrote, you know, the Bible recap, she has videos, and for every day that she talks about what we just read. And so we will listen to her talk together, and then we actually do our little devotion. So yeah, we do all that in the morning, first thing, and everybody likes it. You know, we can pray together, and then move on with our day. So after that, there would be usually something else. So right now we are doing history, and like my kids are independently reading a lot of books from their book list that are historical content, but I do like just to have a guided history program, and we've been using The Good and the Beautiful. We are finishing up our last unit of year 2, the year 2 course book. I really like this program. I talk about it all the time, and I had discontinued it. I think like I said before, last time I talked about this, I think I checked our website, and you can still buy like a lot of the stuff in PDF form, but they're just not making the physical products, I believe. So also, I forget what year, it comes with a timeline. So we have, it's on my wall, but a timeline that we've put up, and then it has these little stickers, timeline stickers, that as we're going through stuff, it tells us when to find that sticker and put it on the timeline. So I like that we're also building this visual timeline. And The Good and the Beautiful, if you're not familiar with the history program, it has like 4 units, and it's chronological. It'll start, you know, farther back, but every year kind of sweeps through time, but like from ancient, you know, to more modern, but they're covering different topics, and they have readers that go along with them. So I bought all the readers, and they have some other kind of book, right? Like this year has this maps and images. And then there are also like audio lessons sometimes, not every day, but you just go to their website, you have like a password protected, but you just listen to the lesson. The kids love those, like they love it. And then they have the student explorers, I have mine, that they can do work from. This is some of Williams. He was in 3rd grade doing this one. There's like map work, and there's pictures to color in there for him. The upper grades start they do can start doing more stuff, but it's supposed to be, for all, like, you're supposed to be able to do this program with all of your kids. Like, the lesson is still the same, but what differentiates between like all the grades is just the student explorers. Okay, so there's that, and then here's an example. Here's the read aloud that is going along with this unit. It's Edith Cavell. I think she's going to be a nurse. So yeah, right now that's like our current morning routine, is to do Bible and to do a history lesson, and we do this pretty much every day. Morning time might get cut. Like, I just did my last day in the life video. I had to go to the grocery store and do some stuff in the morning, so we just skipped morning time. But I just figure, like, when you do these lessons and you're doing like every day instead of like just a couple times a week, it's okay to miss a day here and there, and you get through them like much quicker. So because I want to, we school year round. I alternate back and forth between the units in our history program and then like something else I'm reading. So right before that, we were just doing a fun read, and we chose The Phoenix and the Carpet by E. Nesbit. I can't remember how I came across it. This is the second book in a series. The first book is, I think it's four children in it, or 5 children in it. One of those two. And we found some really bad like 90s version on YouTube of that first one we watched after we were done too. But that was just like we'll just do fun reads. I also will do sometimes, so history, fun read, but I also will use sometimes that slot for some sort of teaching, like small unit that I kind of want to do with everybody. So a lot of times when we do our spelling boot camp, this is when I would insert our spelling boot camp, where we are focusing on, I have like a little spelling boot camp program, and it usually takes about a month, I would say, for us. And if I want to focus on like teaching them the spelling rules and practicing those, and it's just a good refresher. So it might be something like that. So I'm going to show you a couple things I have at hand. I've got a binder back here to show you. And over here, you can see it, my basket. And I'm just gonna start pulling stuff out because sometimes I don't even know what's in there because I haven't looked at it recently because we've just been busy doing our history. I haven't really been digging around in there. Oh yeah, this is in here. So I talked about that I was doing this over the summer with my 8th grader. It's teaching the classics. So this is actually like a training for teachers. It's like a seminar, and it comes with like 7 DVDs that you watch. And I just had Everett watch them with me, and it goes over, tools for literary analysis, style and context, setting, characters, conflict and plot, theme, practicum, and a curriculum for literature. I guess there's 8 sessions that you listen to. And then this book, which you hold on to, has their Socratic list, which is 173 graded discussion questions for use with any story. So I want to be able to use this along, now that we've taken that training together, Everett and I both, I wanted to be able to, and there's a bunch of books, like classic books listed in the back, and they have like a little synopsis of them with it too, so I can kind of decide which ones might work. So I may be looking to grab some of these that aren't on our RC list and use them for read aloud time, and then we can use their Socratic list and there's a chart. They use this one for Casey at the bat. This is a story chart, right? So I can read, and then we can like afterwards, when we finish the book, we can fill in a story chart together, and you can do this with short children's stories as well as like bigger classic novels. So yeah, that's something, it's in there because it's something I want to do. I haven't quite like mapped that out or something. It's something that's like in the back of my brain to try to schedule out my morning basket, my read aloud stuff. Oh yeah, King Alfred's English. I've been reading this. Actually, I keep grabbing it and taking it with us in the car. Whenever there's like some place to go, I've been reading this in the car. So, like, especially if my husband's with us, because if he's driving, then I can read a little bit if I don't get motion sick, or when we go out places, like when we go to the doctor's office. This has been my book that I've been grabbing and reading to them, and everyone thinks it's really interesting. It's really about the history of our language. Okay. Oh, this probably should go in my binder. Okay, so the short story. So like I said, this would be like some kind of teaching tool. And so this is called the Short Story and Literary Devices. I just printed it out. I think this is something I bought offline, or sometimes there's a lot of free stuff you can find online. You're like, that might be something worth some, it's not like a whole curriculum or program. It's just some kind of like little lesson that you think is worth teaching to your kids. So I think there's like it's like slides, right? But I like printed them out. Like, what is a literary device? Literary devices in fiction. Short stories will have these elements. And it's not something necessarily that I'm gonna be grading them on or anything like that, or that it's just giving them some information, and it helps me too. It gives me information too. Okay, so speaking of, here's some other examples. Here's like a binder of stuff I've bought over time. I think I have a whole other one. And I just wrote what's in here. I've got irregular past tense verbs, fact or opinion, author's purpose, grades 4 through 5, point of view, text structure, no prep math games. Oh, I don't use those in morning time. I use those in math, but I keep them in my binder. And editing marks, when I learned that. So, actually, so like this was like a little editing mark. And I actually did do this with Everett. I remember to learn the editing marks myself and to teach them to Everett. And I actually added those onto my language arts bookmarks. This is how I learned them, was just researching stuff, finding lessons for my kids, and being like, yeah, that's good. I want them to know that. And then like putting it in something like permanent that we use in our school. But yeah, this has those marks, and it has like it had these little a couple exercises. So you may or may not need this, but I remember I bought Fix It Grammar, I think whenever it was in 5th grade, and I got it, and I like looked at it, and I immediately was like, no, I'm not going to use that. And I just got that instead, and like, yeah, this is all I really needed. Okay, so I don't think I didn't need a whole separate subject, Anyway, so I think most of these are off like TPT and stuff like that. A lot of them I probably don't need anymore because I have found other resources, but I didn't throw them away just in case, because it's always good for review, right? So here's my irregular past tense verb sheets. Today I tear, yesterday I, right? It's not teared, it's tore. So just, stuff like that. It's kind of like a game, like they can see if they know it. This was actually a fun one. There's a whole bunch of these stories. This is the fact or opinion, and has like these little cards that go with it. But you will like have a commonly known story. This one is The 3 Little Pigs. And this teacher, okay, so she wrote her version of The 3 Little Pigs. And it's all just like 1 page worth. And then you have these little mats, right? Like fact or opinion. And then they all have these little cards that the kids sort through. And then they'll just put it either on the fact or the opinion side, right? They'll sort them out like, I think the wolf is lonely. Fact or opinion, right? So they would sort these all out. And then they give you an answer key. Anyway, so you're teaching them the difference between when they're reading stuff, like what's a fact and what's opinion. And sometimes it's just like letting them know that sometimes kids they don't even have the concept of what is an opinion and what is a fact. And so it kind of reminded me to actually, like when I came across this, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to actually teach them the difference between the fact and opinion, that those are concepts that they should know and be able to spot. Okay, but there's a few of those, and those were fun. I remember I went through those I've gone through them with, I think Everett and William. I've thrown away, I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff that it just became redundant because it was like, I started using something else that did the same thing. And so I did clear out a lot of extra clutter. And yeah, some of these things I paid for, some of them were free. This one was Author's Purpose. I think this was a free one. This is a really simple free one, but the point was to say the author's purpose is the main reason for writing a text. Knowing the author's purpose for writing something can help you better understand what you are reading. And there was like two passages, and then they're supposed to decide, was the author's purpose to persuade, inform, or entertain the reader, right? I think that was a free one. A lot of times when I would teach something like that, I think I might even have author's purpose written up there on my little blackboard area. Yeah, sometimes when I teach things, they end up on the board. For a long time after I taught a lot of grammar to Everett, we had these like grammar flashcards all over. Here's another author's purpose. And there'd be just like a little passage. And then, again, you're supposed to, but there was a bunch of them. And then you ask them, what's the author's purpose? How do you know? And then here's a different kind. This one says summarize it. Okay, so there's a paragraph, and then it says you're supposed to summarize it in 12 words or less. So they're going over author's purpose, summarizing connections, like what does this story remind you of from your own life? So reconnecting it to real life. Inference. They ask you, where was the family going? What makes you think so? So just really short. Cause and effect. Prediction. Okay, so these are things that are definitely for like high elementary. This is something I did use with Everett. I may not need it now that I have that Socratic list from teaching the classics. I don't know if I'll need those little teaching resources, because I may be able just to read more, like a short story and go ask some questions. Yeah, I may just be able to ask some questions from their Socratic list. So yeah, anything I can like simplify and get rid of, I will. But I'm gonna keep them in there for now. I don't think it hurts to have review. So yeah, like Everett's already seen this stuff, or they may have even seen it in some of their, grammar books and things. I don't think it hurts to see it again in like a little short lesson, especially if it's something that like I'm not sure that they have a great grasp on it. Yeah, here's one on point of view. And this one has actually like notebooking pages in it for it, and like reading passages. So this would be actually quite a bit of a longer. This would probably be something that I didn't do with like my youngest. Like he'd get a play break if I was gonna do this with the older two. Yeah, but I'll show you the cover page, just point of view. Pretty much everything that I find myself needing to like teach is, at this time in the day is literary, in nature in some way, or grammar in some way. Okay, and the other things are just my math games. I keep this in a cabinet, so I have to like remember that it's there though, to like everyone's I'll check back in with it to see if there's something that I can fit in. Okay, flashcards. So this one is fact or opinion flashcards, idioms, metaphors, and similes. So I just think these are fun to pull out every once in a while, between, books. I also have like some grammar games that sometimes I pull down. And so maybe for a week we'll play a grammar game or something. So it'll be something like this. It'll say, this car is a lemon. I'm like, well, what does that mean? And it means this car is old and run down. So that's like the meaning. So those are kind of fun, right? Especially things like idioms and metaphors that, children have to be literally told what they mean at some point in their life. Here's a fun read. I want to read Sir Gibbie by George MacDonald. And we bought a bunch of these like 10 boys who made a difference, or 10 boys who changed the world and stuff like that series. So I have like the next one in the series thrown in my basket. Oh, Hatchet. This was, I remember I think my third grade teacher read this to me, and I remember I was obsessed with this book. Like I loved it. It really left an impression on me. And it's, looking back, like it's so short. But yeah, I was engrossed by this book. So actually, I think this was like in a little free library, and I grabbed it. I was like, oh, Hatchet, yes. The same way, okay, the story of King Arthur and his knights. I typically am not one for like adaptations or like little short versions of stuff for kids. But yeah, just because we had covered, talked about King Arthur a bit, I believe was it in our island story? He's just come up a couple times. I feel like was he in our Writing and Rhetoric book too? Or am I just confusing it with Alfred the Great? I don't know, but I feel like he's come up. And so I did grab this because it's short and we could read this, easily in a couple days or whatever. So King Arthur, it's just a fun one. Same with the Adventures of Robin Hood. Just like a fun one. I feel like the kids should have these stories in their story lexicon. The Phantom Tollbooth. This is just one that I saw recommended a lot, just for fun. So Phantom Tollbooth. The people said they remembered from their childhood and liked. The Essential George MacDonald book collection. So there's several stories in here. Yeah, we've read The Princess and the Goblin and The Princess and Curdie. So we still have The Light Princess and Other Fairy Tales and Fantasies, a Fairy Romance for Men and Women. Yeah, I probably won't read that one though. The Story of the Amulet, that's the third book in that trilogy I was talking to you about 5 children and it, and The Phoenix and the Carpet. This is the last of that series, so that's in there for fun. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I think this might actually be on, this is on the RC reading list, but this looks like it may be shortened. But what I like about the Scholastic Classic series is that they have like little reading questions at the end. So when we read these, and we can like go over the questions together at the end, which I think is fun, just to like encourage conversations around books. So it's just for fun. Picture of Dorian Gray, Frankenstein, and then yeah, like I said, sometimes we go doing things, you're kind of teaching things. So especially when we've been studying parts of speech or whatever, I like Mad Libs. So this is a cartoon my boys like, and so I grabbed it to kind of keep them interested in the Mad Libs. Of course, there's like a ton more books in the schoolroom that I could grab. There's tons more that I could grab and just do read alouds for. There's also a lot of books that I read to my youngest son. Like I read to him, like we have our own books that we're reading during like so he's done preschool and kindergarten, he's going into first grade. Like right now we're reading The Wind in the Willows. And so I'm reading to that every day, but that's kind of like part of his individualized education is that read aloud with mom and his like follow-up assignment. I found more flashcards. So I also would I might use this as a time to, if there's like vocabulary words or word parts, like psalm, what does that mean? So I might quiz the kids on things that they've been exposed to, just to keep it in their mind. I just feel like so much of holding on to information and facts is just repetition. That they just hear it enough times, or they have to say it enough times, or write it enough times, or work it out enough times. It just eventually sticks. So, drill. Okay, well, that was everything I have in my morning basket at the moment. It covers our morning time. Let me know what you are reading to your kids. If you have any favorites, like teaching lessons, like short lessons, Bible or history or fun reads, leave them in the comment section because I'm always looking at books. I can never have too many books. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.